Kelly as well as Kennedy Todd-Williams that were unbelievable. You had the same starting lineup the entire season. You only add one new player, and you have a couple of players that you're going to have returning from injuries and knee injuries. So it's looking pretty bright for you guys. But as far as entering the season, I remember last year having a conversation with you. You said a lot of people really didn't think we would be this good because they didn't know what we had. Now you know what you have. What does it look like this season?
Well, really well said. I remember coming here last year and saying, I think we're flying a little bit under the radar because I had seen all the work they put in. And what's been really fun for me is the talent that they had last year. They're better than they were a year ago. You know, our success is dependent upon our pieces getting better. And the amount of work that these two in particular put into their craft on a daily basis is a lot of people wouldn't understand. It makes them a bit nuts, but you know, it makes us better. And I know that the version that you guys will see of these two players will be really happy.
I mean, flying under the radar. And you're in the way too early top 25, top 15 team of the season. And just going back when you're looking at the returning 4 starters, top 4 scorers, and even the top 9 scorers from last season's squad. I did mention just the pieces that you are able to add. You did have Paulina Paris that is going to be joining with you as well. But if you can speak to the 2 players that you're getting back, especially Young, and what you can provide for this group.
Yeah, so we got hit by the injury bug last year, and Tiana Key had given North Carolina 6'5", big, can move, really versatile. She'll be clear and ready to go this year, which is going to give us a big lift in the front court. You know, of course, we just lost Kayla McPherson for a little period of time, not quite as bad as the first time, so she provides a great dynamic for us as well. And Paulina Paris has brought so much kind of New York flair to our game and gives us another combo guard. It's comfortable with ball in hand to facilitate play. And then, you know, like I said, these guys are a year better, so they're a little bit different. They look a little different as well.
They look a little different. When we're looking at the physique, are we saying they're stronger? What are we saying here?
I think there's an element of confidence and growth to their game. Yeah, and physicality that they bring. There's an assuredness. They've been here before. Their roles are continued. They've seen that you put work in and reach goals. You put work in and reach the next goal. And so I'm just going to be doing what I can to bring them hard.
Well, I was joking with the ladies right before we came on stage. They said, wow, I don't even know what to say right now. I have Jordan and Pippen right next to me. So I know that we were making that comparison in last season. Kennedy, going back to what you provide for this team, how you've even grown in the offseason, what are a few things that you wanted to improve on? Just to be that player that's really known for your voice as well as what you can really do.
Yeah, I would say I really worked on my free ball. You know, over summer, everyone is able to guard me my mid-range and attacking the basket. So expanding my range and making it harder for defenders to guard me was really what I focused on. So.
And looking at even the jump for this group, it doesn't take much time to build chemistry. We've already seen pretty much everyone on the floor. What's the next step for you guys in the season?
Just our cohesiveness on the floor. You know, I think really just staying connected and continuing to get better day by day. You know, I think that's the biggest thing for us. And really just walking into everything that we're going for has been our biggest success.
And then Deja, I mean, I remember calling a couple games. I'm like, it's a bucket. She's a fucking bucket. Like, when you say anything that's different, but I mean, just as far as earning your respect, your keep in this league, what has gone into that?
I think me kind of keeping my head down in those first 2 years, really just putting the work in and knowing that I have been putting the work in and knowing that it'll show eventually, and everyone else will kind of catch on eventually, and they did. So I think that that's kind of what went into that, just me just knowing that I am very capable of doing what I do and knowing that I've put the work in. So.
Perfect. Coach, I want to go back to just even how you're challenging yourself in the non-conference schedule. Looking down the line now, you see Jackson State, who really showed the nation what they can do. And then as well as James Madison, you're looking at teams that, I think you have 5 teams that played in the NCAA tournament in your non-conference schedule. What went into building that going into ACC play?
You know, we really want to host. I think that's a real attainable goal for us. You have to have a great non-conference, you have to have great results. We play in a great conference that gives us lots of opportunities for big wins. And I want these guys to be prepared in a variety of environments. So we've got Michigan in a Jumpman event right here in Charlotte, and they went to the Elite Eight last year. Of course, we could have Iowa State, who went to the Elite Eight in Greensboro with us. And you got Oregon and Indiana on the road, lots of places to play in the country. And so, you work so hard to get a good team. When you have a good team, you want to go for anybody and everybody. And so it was intentional, and I bit off a big bite, and I know you guys will be ready.
So are they in those talks with you? I just remember being on the other side, like, how do you want to be challenged? And when you have leaders that are, that you trust, and I know that was one thing that you were talking about even last season, how much of their input or who you want to play and how they want to be challenged goes into it.
I think for them, they're typical college kids. They love to play in Bora Bora. They would love to play in Hawaii. No, but I think for them, the better the game. I think there's an element of trust that they know, hey, wherever you think we should play, wherever, let's do it. And we try to get them into their home region. Of course, Kennedy's from North Carolina. We already played in Texas. So there's an element of that as well. But like I said, I think my job is to put them in the best situation possible, to have the best success and to play the best. That's why they came to Carolina, and I know they're looking forward to it.
All right, I wanted to go and just talk about the ACC. Obviously, one of the top premier conferences we talked about. And you guys being a big part of it. You went 13-5 last season in conference play. And challenge each step of the way. We're looking at how you guys can set yourself apart even more in this season. Where does that begin? And I'll start with you, Kennedy, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is very competitive, but really just grow, like I said, growing each time. We step off the floor, just competing along the way.
I think for us, just kind of, now that we are an experienced group, I think carrying ourselves as such, knowing that we've been here before, we kind of know what it takes to reach the goals that we're going to reach. And knowing that we put in the work together, in summer and off season, and just knowing that we have that experience under our belt now, and that we're not babies anymore. So I think that definitely will set us apart.
I wanted to go back to you, Kennedy, just with Coach Banghart saying a couple of things and singing high praises on you, and something stood out. She said she's a gym rat. Always putting in extra work to make herself better, and that love for the game fuels her. Where has that love for the game? Like, where did that begin? I mean, obviously you're playing at a very high level, but how does that feel?
It feels great, knowing that my work is showing, it's continuing to show. I was playing basketball since I was 5, so really that competitive drive, passion. I'm so passionate about the game, and I love the game. So, and I know my work is going to show, anytime I step out onto the floor. So getting those extra reps, staying in the gym is how it's fueled me, and it's going to continue to show on the floor. So, and I know that Coach trusts me and everything. So.
Does anything change for you guys in the season? I mean, we do have two top players here. We only graduated one player for the building. When you're looking at even what that has been like for your group, what is different about this style? I know being top 3 in scoring offense as well as scoring defense was big as far as the balance of your team. But what went into creating that?
Yeah, I think what made our team so special last year was their connectedness in the locker room. I think also it's a group, as you can hear in their answers, they just were focused on the next day. How can I get better? How can I get better? And it sounds so workmanlike, but that's their identity, right? And so we were able to, so when we beat Louisville at home, in a great game, and we had to go to Florida State 3 days later, so we had to beat them on the road the whole time. And we just talked about how our goal was never to beat Louisville. Our goal was to give ourselves a chance to win every game we play. So the next step, right? And that's just the way they operate. And so my hope is that they find their connectedness in the same way they did last year, in their own unique way, but in the same result. And then they stay committed to the journey, because this is a really tough league. We've got NC State, Duke, Virginia, and Virginia Tech twice, right? Plus everyone else in the conference. And so you just can't get too up and too down. You just got to keep getting better, right? And I think that that's going to be my mission, is to keep them focused on that. And that's going to be their job as experienced talent, to know that, it matters that you're playing your best basketball league. So just keep going.
Don't worry, Deja. Coach says very nice things about you too, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. But I remember last season you were talking about who's going to step up in those moments of adversity. Who's going to be that voice, that leader that's consistently stepping up, and you wanting to be a better leader in the season. Everyone understands what you can bring to the floor, and so she did mention that, just how you've grown exponentially as a leader. I mean, was the conversation there last season of what you wanted to do and why you wanted to be that piece, and where do you feel like you're fitting in so far?
Yeah, I think just me kind of taking on that role a lot, and just me just kind of looking outward and looking at what those next steps were going to be for me as a player, and what my growth and next steps were. Before it was kind of me trying to thinking so much and kind of settled in. I think that's when it kind of showed that I was ready to take on the leadership role. I think I've done a pretty good job so far, and it all just comes down to the mentality. You know, we all know that we all have the same goal. So for me, just really helping push our team to reach those.
Perfect. I know we have about 5 minutes left. I don't know if there are any questions in the audience. Raise your hand if you do. If not, we'll continue to move on. Looks like we're good to go. So, Coach, I wanted to go over that philosophy with you.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about, I didn't like Zoom so much, being in your presence and just hearing from you about just the philosophy and how you were just really, I guess, nurturing and how you were challenging this young core to be good every single day. You mentioned it each game. You just want to win that game. But the philosophy in this season, how has that changed?
I think the big thing is that this is a group that needs cheerleaders and they need challengers, right? And my job is to do both, right? When Kennedy needs a challenger, I got it. When she needs a cheerleader, I got it, right? And her teammates have to sort that out as well. But you know, it starts right here, right? And so this particular group, collectively and individually, I stand ready to be their challenger and I stand ready to be their cheerleader because ultimately it's about the process, right? And it takes an element of trust because it's not always easy to be challenged in a way that I can do it at times. And then the cheerleading part, I come at it authentically, so they know I'm not trying to just give them praise. And so I do that through film, I do that through live action, and I do it through conversation. And I think that when we walk onto that, I always say you want to recruit and coach guys that you can lose with. Because if you do, you won't lose a lot. And what I mean by that is when we're walking down that tunnel after that game against South Carolina, walking over to the locker room, I walked into that locker room and I looked at my staff and I said, well, we can lose with this group, right? Because they gave us their best every day. They trusted our process. They gave each other their best. And so I can lose with that, right? And so that's our goal, is to make sure that every day in practice, I'm building a team that I can lose with. And then more happens.
It's like the Amazing Race. No pun intended. I wanted to go to even for Kennedy and Deja. Just when she's talking about philosophy and what you guys want to do as far as like the locker room, I think that's the most important thing. It's like the coaches can tell you what to do, but when you're looking at how you control the locker room in this season, how is that different for you guys?
Thank you. I love it.
I think we've kind of had those conversations as a team, just that at the end of the day, it comes down to us and how we want to carry each other, help push each other to be our best. So trying to figure out the balance of those things and what it takes and what exactly we need from each other. Because we know that we're all we got and we're completely fine with that. We're fine with what we got and just knowing each other, learning each other, and growing with each other and learning what's best for us to reach goals that we want to reach. So I know that it comes down to us at the end of the day.
Coach always says, strong on our best together. And I think, everyone knows, like our piece. When we're together and we're connected and we're striving to be our best, it's like definitely a mentality shift, to just be together and, like Deja said, just really stay connected and just keep it good.
Well, practices are obviously underway and took off. We're here at the ACC.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting that much closer to the first day, but if you can take us behind the scenes just a little bit. We're wrapping up. One last thing. When you're looking at something that may surprise some people, who is that player?
On our team?
Yes.
Gosh, I do really, it's hard to find the surprise of any of them. Trying to think here, looking down our roster, because we're still in the practice mode. I guess I'd say Mason, I'm surprised by every day. I hope these guys surprise you in a good way, and I hope they all do. I hope that Tiani Key's journey in college basketball is a good one, as she's now with us. I think Caleb McPherson, whenever she's back, will be a highlight for us as well. I mean, really, I think I'm fascinated to hear y'all's answers because they're all have an element of surprise.
I know I'm not surprised. Quickly, who do you think the surprise player is going to be?
Caleb McPherson.
How about you, Kayla? Very capable of being really good there.
Perfect. We'll make sure we put a little star by their name. Thank you so much.
You got it. Thank you.
Banghart, as well as Kennedy and Deja, thank you so much. Good luck this season.
Thank you. You're awesome.